What is up, everybody? My apologies for the last few shows. The last few shows we did not have ourselves here on the show actually talking to you. So what you saw was a bunch of slideshows and different links and all this stuff. You didn't hear a word of our analysis, and that's really annoying to me. It's really sad to me. It's a lot of wasted time. Um, Trying to talk about the game that we love and trying to capture all of this, but not being able to because of stupid technical difficulties. I forgot to add myself to the stage. That's what happened. I forgot to add myself to the stage. And so here we are talking again. We got Canada versus Morocco live right now. And that game is getting very interesting. Saibari has already been injured in the game, but Hakimi with a ridiculous cutback assist to the edge of the box for Unai, who's finally scored a goal in this World Cup, finally doing something in this World Cup. Set up Hakimi for a shot off the bar earlier. Hasn't really done anything other than that. Scores an absolute brilliant goal. But we're going to go through the round of 32 because this was crazy. We talked about it in a show we did yesterday, and that show was completely erased. And that's infuriating. That was infuriating. But, we got to do it again. So here we are. We're going to do it again. The round of 32 was wild. This was wild action. It's a wild life. I mean, this was nuts. You had everyone from Paraguay knocking off Germany. You had Croatia getting robbed harshly, heavily by Portugal. You had France, flexing that muscle. You had Argentina, the holders, pushed to the absolute brink by Cape Verde, who, I mean, this is unbelievable, guys. Cape Verde, in matches against Spain, Uruguay, and Argentina, three nations that have a collective combined 6 World Cups. And Cape Verde literally held them to draws in every one of those games in normal time. I mean, usually a small nation takes a big nation to extra time, and that bigger nation scores an early goal in extra time. Usually it's like a 4-1, 5-1 type of game after that. Usually like the big nation pours it on and the other team it gets exhausted, right? No. Cape Verde then scored one of the greatest goals of the tournament to literally get them back in this thing. And just shocking game. We're going to go through that as well. But let's start with the first games here, guys, because this was absolute madness. This was madness. This was crazy. This was unbelievable. Okay. Japan through Sano scored the early goal and then just defend. And Casemiro is playing like absolute garbage, and you're thinking, he's probably going to get subbed at halftime. He's on a yellow as well. Like, this is not looking good for Brazil. This is not looking good for Brazil. And then guess what happens? What does Casemiro always do? Whether it's been at Real Madrid, whether it's been at Manchester United, crazily, or whether it's been for Brazil, because he's done this in another World Cup as well. He just scores goals, Casemiro. He just scores huge freaking goals, doesn't he? And they left, Carlo Ancelotti took off. He took off Lucas Paqueta, one of their best creative players, a guy who's always good for an assist. They took him off to keep Casemiro on. What a major gamble. And it paid off because Casemiro scores the equalizer and then toughens it up in midfield, gets Brazil to be able to control the ball more. And they basically dominate that second half where they're just barraging the Japanese back line with one attack after another. They can't get through. Is Neymar going to have to come off the bench to finish this off? Is Neymar going to be called upon? No, 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 no. Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal is the one who's called upon, and he delivers a fourth assist from Bruno Gomes. Bruno, you look at the referee cam on that assist, on that final goal. It looks like he's going to just pump it at the frame, like he's just going to shoot it. And instead, he slips this pass perfectly right past the defender, right to Martinelli. And I'm thinking, man, if Martinelli does not score this, he's never going to be good for Brazil. Like, he's got to bury this. He's got to score this. And score it, he did. He absolutely buried that shit. Absolutely buried that shit. In the final seconds, I believe it was the latest normal time goal in World Cup history. If it wasn't, it was close. And that's his greatest moment as a Brazilian international. Maybe the greatest moment of his career outside of scoring that goal against Real Madrid. Incredible performance by Brazil in that second half. 17 key passes, completely dominated midfield. But really, the thing I don't like to see, and the thing that we're continuing to see, is they have problems at fullback. Danilo, a big error for a goal, also was on a yellow. A lot of the ball, 73 passes through him, but dispossessed for that goal by Japan, completely out of his depth at the age of 34. They have to figure something out, Brazil. They have got to figure something out at right back. I don't know what it is. I don't know what type of options they could possibly have at that position. You might need to even put a center back there, because there's no attacking flair or defensive solidity on that right or left side for Brazil. It's better on the left side with Douglas Santos, but he's just marginally better than Danilo, and also older as well. Both of them in 32 and older. Ryan had a really good game, set up a shot off the post by Vinicius. He's really starting to turn the screw loose. Turn the screw, but still no Rafinha. When is Rafinha going to come back into the lineup for this team? And I got to be real, if Rafinha doesn't come back in the lineup for this team, the quarterfinals is once again as far as they'll go. So Brazil, they're going to be facing Norway next. That is not going to be easy. That is not going to be easy whatsoever. That could be a game that they lose. That could be a game that Erling Haaland already has 5 goals. Okay, Erling Haaland, he's already got 5 goals. Odegaard is playing the best football he's played in years with 3 assists. And Norway didn't even play their best against Ivory Coast. But Ivory Coast are just a tough, grinded out opponent. And they found a way, even though Norway looked, they were outclassed at moments, but they looked good for the most part. And they're going to be formidable in this World Cup. Don't you forget about that. Next up, this was wild. Okay. Germany crashing out of the World Cup to Paraguay. And you know how this happened? Germany not only had a goal disallowed in extra time, which I think was kind of bullshit. Yes, Valdemar Anton technically impedes the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is up and ready to save the ball. It doesn't completely affect him, and he lets the ball go right through his hands. Germany should not have been punished for that. In fact, Paraguay should have been. Like, that's supposed to be the way of this tournament. Stay on your feet, be stronger. Don't just go falling over this ticky-tack foul bullshit. We're not going to call those this tournament. Well, apparently it seems like they're going to call it when they feel like, oh, we're going to affect this outcome. And that's what we're going to get into, is the refereeing that we really thought was really intriguing throughout the group stage. where they actually let guys foul the shit out of each other. Like, unless it was really egregious, they weren't calling a damn thing. Like, unless it was really egregious, they were letting elbows go, stamps go, all sorts of stuff. But my God, if you breathe on a goalkeeper, you're done. You're done. The goal does not count. Shocking. Absolutely shocking that Jonathan Tah's goal gets disallowed, right? From just this little grab. Valdemar Anton, he does put both arms around the keeper, and that's why they call it. If he just leaves that one arm there, they're not going to call anything. He basically puts the arms around him. The goalkeeper sells it. They call it. Okay. I'm so sick of the goalkeepers are so protected. You'd think they were Israeli citizens. It's outrageous how protected they are. They can literally punch a guy in the face and then get a foul called their way at the same time. You fouled him even though he punched you in the face. Like and then also we have goalkeepers getting angry that they now are getting called for penalties for socking people in the face in the penalty box. Like they get so many calls their way. It's embarrassing. And this is another one. We're going to see it throughout the World Cup again and again and again in these knockout rounds, and we're going to talk about it. But Germany, in a way, were robbed from this goal. Paraguay were fantastic, though. And you know what? Paraguay deserved the victory because they physically grinded it out, but also they outworked, they outplayed Germany out times. Germany were just going side to side to side. There was nothing really entertaining about what Germany were doing. There wasn't any impetus. There wasn't any forward thrust or push. Germany deserved to be knocked out of this tournament. Musiala, coming off that injury, they really did not want to push him. And he had one goal, and that was against Caracas, and really didn't do much else. You know, you had Kai Havertz get 3 goals. You know, he was okay, but he's not a striker. I don't understand why Arsenal or Germany both continue with this trying to make him a striker. He's not a fucking striker. He's a center attacking mid who can also drop deep into center mid and makes those runs into the box just like any other great top midfielder does, like a Bellingham. He is not a center forward. And yes, he's had 2 goals in every single tournament he's played for Germany. That's incredible. And now he's got a 3rd with this tournament, and that's where he kind of stops. He's going to get you goals in big games. He's going to get you 1 goal in a big game. He's not going to score repeated chances. He scored in 2 Champions League finals. We cannot take that away from him. He does score in big games, Kai Havertz. He is not a out-and-out striker. Germany, you know, Julian Nagelsmann really screwed this pooch because he allowed to have a cancerous team where Leon Goretzka is in there and veteran midfielder. You think he should be able to hold his own, really contribute off the bench without being a sulky bitch and really provide the team something they desperately need, right? No. He refuses to even take a penalty when Germany is at their biggest time of need, forces Jonathan Tah out there to do it for himself. And, of course, he misses. And he becomes the villain. While this guy gets to walk away unscathed, I just think it's really gross. I think it's really... Leon Goretzka's Germany legacy is going to be him refusing to take a penalty in their first shootout loss since the 1976 Euro final against Panenka and Czechoslovakia. Since 1976, they had not lost a penalty shootout. And that aging veteran, his last dance as well, Leon Goretzka, this is his last dance for Germany. He refuses to his best friend, Joshua Kimmich, who asks him, Germany are boring. Yes, they're going in a better direction than they were over the last few years, over the last decade. Ever since they won the World Cup in 2014, You saw it in Euro 2016 how boring they were, but they got to the semifinals. You saw how that generation completely collapsed in the 2018 group stage. Okay, we'll think they'll rebound. Euro 2020, bam, out in the first knockout round to who else but England, a team they always beat. 2022 World Cup, they can only beat Costa Rica and can't even get out of the group stage despite hitting the post like 7 times and scoring quite a bunch of goals in that last game. They lose to Japan, draw against Spain. I mean, Germany have been very difficult to watch, and you know what? They're at a crisis right now because, of course, no one expected them to get past France in the next round, and that's probably what was in their minds. Oh, we're gonna lose to France anyway. Like I don't know. It's just unreal. Unreal what happened to Germany in this World Cup and how they failed. I still just don't understand how you can have the German national team at your disposal with all that talent and completely fail. I understand Leonard Carl should have been there and he wasn't, and that was a big miss not having him. Serge Gnabry, another big miss. You have Serge Gnabry, you don't have to play Leroy Sané's, poo-poo out wide. If you have these certain guys, you don't have to deal with some of the personnel that Nagelsmann had to. But here's the thing. Nagelsmann screwed the culture of the squad up by picking Manuel Neuer in the first place. So Nagelsmann should not be in a job for the German national team. They need to go after Jurgen Klopp, or Germany is going to continue to go down this spiral. Next on this list of crazy, crazy games in this knockout round, the first knockout round ever, was Netherlands-Morocco. Now, this was an incredible performance by Morocco. Dominant on the ball, completely just casual at times. Like they were just, hey, we know the Dutch can't touch this, can't touch the ball. We know they can't even get close. We're going to pass this shit around them. You have a midfield of Frankie de Jong, Tiani Reinders, Ryan Gravenberch, players who start for Barcelona, for Liverpool, for Manchester City. And you not only take one of those midfielders out, Tiani Reinders, the one with the most forward-thinking impetus, you literally, Ronald Koeman, going against Morocco, a team built of players who are castaways, a few of them, from the Dutch team, from the French team, you let that team absolutely boss the Netherlands in possession, control the game. And it doesn't matter that the Netherlands scored first. It was a cheap, easy goal off a counterattack. Like credit to Cody Gakpo. It was a wonderful moment for him. He lost his unborn child, his unborn son. And that was a beautiful moment for him to get that goal in that moment and have that celebration. It was a historic World Cup moment. But they did not deserve to go through. The Netherlands had no right going through in this competition. A, no one wants to watch them play, especially when they're doing that. B, it's unbelievable to me how many times people keep telling me the identity of the Dutch national team is to be all attacking and playing with high-passing football and total football from the Cruyff era and the 1988 Euros with Van Basten and Ronald Koeman and Frank Rijkaard and all the Gerald Vandenberg, all these guys, and you've seen none of that. In reality, the Netherlands have been a very negative, violent, borderline, like just insane team to play against in these tournaments. When the Netherlands are up against it, they get more violent. There's more yellow cards. There's more crazed push. There's more defending and defensive bullshit tactics. It's incredible, and you've seen it for tournament after tournament after tournament for different coaches. Not just one or two coaches, different coaches have been this way with the Netherlands. Ronald de Boer, Ronald Koeman, Louis van Gaal. It's been something that's been going back for a long way, where the Dutch have unbelievable talent like Frankie de Jong. And they don't even come close to using this guy at his apex. Not even close. And it's a goddamn shame, because you put Frankie de Jong, Tiani Reinders, and Ryan Gravenberch in the right formation with the right midfield three, they might be able to control the midfield against anybody except for maybe Spain. And instead, you see Morocco's El Anoui, Bouadi, El Kanous, Hakimi. They're just dancing around them, just bossing, absolutely bossing the Netherlands. And still, it took until the last seconds for them to get a game-tying goal through Issa Diop at the last second in extra time, to force extra time, which then became penalties. And you knew once it hit penalties, the Netherlands were not going to be able to withstand that pressure. And of course, Morocco go through because they had the steal, they had the football on their side. The football gods were on their side and were pulling for them. And the Dutch, once again, have a violent, ugly, tragic, horrifying end to a tournament. They cannot stop themselves. They'll score 5-1 against Sweden, and then in the next game have a back five and play like they're Stoke in 2002, against Morocco. A team that they should be feeling like, hey, we're the colonialists here. You guys are having to poach our leftovers. We're going to dominate you, right? Instead, Morocco were like, yeah, you should have played this guy. You should have let this guy stay for the Netherlands. We took him, and you're fucked because of it. Saibari, 3 goals already in this tournament. He just barely got injured, knocked out of this game against Canada that's happening right now. And it looks like he might be out for the tournament, sadly, with a torn hamstring. By the way, Bono is making one save after another against Canada right now. That's just incredible. And Morocco just continue. They're up 2-0 on Canada now. Hakimi with a brilliant cutback assist to Unai, who finally gets a World Cup goal and finally looks to be showing his best. But, man, the Netherlands deserve to lose. Ugly football, ugly just mentality, violent mentality. And they do this tournament after tournament after tournament. They're content with penalties from the first second. They did that in 2014 in the semifinal against Argentina, even the quarterfinal against Costa Rica. They were fine with penalties. Insane. They did the same thing in the 2010 World Cup final against Spain. They were content with injuring everyone they possibly could and sending the game to penalties. And it's just great when you see teams like that. Okay, you want to go to penalties? You get what you fucking deserve, Netherlands. And look at that face for Frankie de Jong, man. I feel so bad for him having to put up with this shit on this club. On this national team, where they continuously hire the worst, least progressive minds to coach this group. And this is what you get. And Morocco are continuous giant killers, guys. They've beaten Brazil in a friendly. They tied with Brazil in this World Cup. In the last World Cup, they beat Belgium. They beat Spain. They beat Portugal. Almost beat France. And now they've taken down the Netherlands. They're not going to be afraid of anybody. And since it looks like they're going to get through Canada here, them playing France, this could be something. This could be a really good game, a very good game between France and Morocco, where you're going to see two teams going all out for this thing. Oh, Brahim Diaz lays on the assist to Unai for his second goal of the game, and that's Brahim Diaz's third assist of the tournament. So Canada are down 2-0, and that looks like that might be curtains for them. So now we got to put Diaz up on the list now. Moving on from Morocco and the Netherlands, because now Morocco they're going through into the quarterfinals now, guys. This is they're going on yet another run. Morocco is not just some sleeper, This is a team that is ready for the big time. They are ready to win this whole thing. Not saying they're going to. That's what their mind is set on. That's what they're thinking about, is winning this whole fucking thing. People got to understand that. And you know what? They could do it. I'm not gonna say they can't, because I think that's foolish. Because guys, this team can beat anybody in a lot of different ways. They can do it. France were unrelenting and unbelievable against Sweden. Michael Odyssey with another 2-assist game. He's got 5 on the World Cup, which is the most assists in a World Cup since 1994. Odyssey's assist, I believe it was to Barcola, where he puts it through the Norway defender's legs. Unfathomably brilliant. Or sorry, the Sweden defender's leg. Unfathomably brilliant. Outrageous pass through the legs. Scintillating pass through the legs. And Odyssey kept doing stuff like that all game. Does a backflip scissor kick, perfect contact over the keeper, hits the inside of the damn bar. That's the second time Odyssey's hit the post or the bar in this World Cup. Should have 2 goals. You see Mbappe also hit the post from a Dembele setup, and then he still scores 2 goals, and Dembele gets the assist on the first one from a little quick corner routine that's worked on the inside channel. Beautiful layoff by Dembele, and once again another scintillating goal from Mbappe. He gets 2 on the day. Bradley Barcola gets his second of the tournament as well. And France, it's only 3-0, but guys, this could have been like 10-0. Like, they absolutely obliterated Sweden. Sweden had a great first 15 minutes where you thought this might be a game, and it took France a long time to finally score. But let me remind you, they had 6 shots on target and 2 shots off the post in just the first 25-30 minutes. 12 shots on target total, 25 total shots taken, 21 chances created, complete domination of the ball, dribbles, multiple guys with 3 or more dribbles, just unbelievable play by this team. Who is going to be able to beat this French team? I mean, they have Ryan Cherki, Malo Gusto, Desiree Doué, Teo Hernandez, Bradley Barcola coming off the bench, Marcus Thuram off the bench, Konate, Kone, who I think should be the starting center mid, Zaire Emery, Conte. You have all these guys sitting on the bench. I mean, I think if you get rid of Rabiot, who should not be playing for this team, you get rid of Rabiot and you put Kone in there with Tchouaméni. My God, you saw how high-powered the team was against Norway and now Sweden. This French team does look unbeatable. I don't want to say they're unbeatable. I think against Messi, you never know. But man, they look something special. Maybe something like we've never seen in a World Cup, outside of Brazil in 1970, Brazil in 1982, Spain for bits of it in 2010. Even though Spain only scored 8 goals in that tournament, they were unbelievable to watch. France are statistically outrageous. Already 13 goals, which is just for context, everybody. A lot of teams that win the World Cup in the past scored 12 or 13 goals total in the tournament across 7 games. It's just been 4 games. They had 10 in the group stage. Now they add another 3. 13 goals already for this team. 5 assists for Odyssey. Leads the table. Most assists in 22 years since the last time America hosted the World Cup. That's more assists than anybody's had in the Euros as well for quite some time. Unparalleled brilliance. Kylian Mbappe already 6 goals on the tournament, 2 assists. I mean, this is just nuts. Dembele, 4 goals, 2 assists himself. Barcola, 2 goals, 1 assist. This team are racking up the goals, racking up the assists, but they're also playing brilliant football. They're hard to stop. They're hard to score against. And here's the one thing, though. You can create chances against this French team. The question is, can you take them? Mike Maignan has not played well. William Saliba, one of the best defenders in the world, he has not played well this World Cup. Upamecano has been one of the better defenders back there. They don't look like they know what they're doing much back there defending. And I could see France losing a game in this World Cup because of the errors at the back. But if it's like toe-to-toe shootout, I don't think anybody can fight fire with this French team outside of Lionel Messi. But Messi can't do it all himself. He's going to need help from his Argentine compatriots, which we're going to get into because that was just crazy. But after France, then we went into, I just want to cover Mexico real quick. 4 games for Mexico, 0 goals allowed. Incredible. You've got to hail that. That's just brilliant. That's just brilliant play. And Mexico are definitely going to be a formidable opponent for our next team that we're talking about, England. Harry Kane saves the day with 2 late goals. Anthony Gordon off the bench with 2 assists. This was a wild game. A very fun game to watch, too, because England peppered the goal. They were shooting the daylights out of that DR Congo goal. And I want to make sure I get the DR Congo's goalkeeper's name right. Mbase. What's his name? Because Mbase was incredible. It only says 5 saves. It felt like he made like 10. A lot of clearances where he's coming out and a lot of sweeper keeping type play. He was Excalibur. And Johan Wissa hits the post when it's about to be 2-0. Hits the post when it could have been 2-0 early in that game. What a shocking turn of events that would have been. And instead, they perform so well, DR Congo. They do everything they can to keep England at bay, to make sure England don't have a chance in this game. And despite all the chances England had to score goals and just couldn't, it took Harry Kane with 2 unbelievable goals, probably the two most important goals he's ever scored in his England career. This was the same type of feeling as Slovakia in the Euro 2024, where are England really going to go out to this team? England left that even more later, with it being a stoppage time goal. This was more, at least not as nail-biting for England fans, where they did score that goal earlier in like 78th minute or whatever. And then Kane, he looks like he's going to pass it out wide to Saka, and instead just goes nuclear strikes that thing, just whips it into that top corner, unstoppable from Mbase, cannot get close to it. England, man, they go through and they're going to be playing Mexico in the Azteca, a team that has not allowed a goal. a team that has a horrible fan base that treat other fan bases terribly. Um, they're going to have people waking England up all night outside their hotel. They're going to have possibly stuff put in their food. They're going to have the worst treatment England in Mexico. And to be honest, they should spend the least amount of time there in Mexico and prepare everything themselves, the food, everything. They should have someone out there ready for the people to come out and wake the players up and just blast them with hoses or something. Like, you have to be ready, you know, throw buckets of piss on these guys from the hotel windows. Like, you cannot let Mexico do what they did to Ecuador. That what they've done to the Ecuadorian fans, how they racially abused, actually, a lot of these Ecuadorian fans, physically attacking them, throwing beer on them, and running away like a bunch of little pricks, little cowards. Like, Mexico deserved to get taken down here for the way they have acted. I know a lot of people haven't seen it. A lot of attention hasn't gone there. But, man, they have been outrageous with their behavior, disgusting. And I'd love to see England win. But here's the thing. If England's going to win, it's going to be 0-0, penalties, 1-1, penalties, 1-0. It's going to be a grinded out, ugly, physically demanding, physically testing game where the kicking is going to be there, the fouling is going to be there, the brutality is going to be there. It is going to be violent. It is going to be intense. It's going to be turbulent. It is going to be must-see TV. It might not be the most entertaining football match you'll ever see, but I think it's going to be so compelling to see England playing Mexico in Azteca. I mean, these are the things that World Cups are made of. And England have got to figure it out. Is Declan Rice going to play right back? Because I got to be honest with you, Declan Rice is their best option at right back right now. But can you take him out of center midfield? Could you go with Rice at right back and then a midfield of, say, Bellingham and Elliot Anderson? And then Morgan Rogers at center attacking mid, Saka right forward, left forward Rashford or Gordon, and then Kane up top. Can you go with that? I think you could. I think that could work with Rice tucking in and stuff like that, and his beautiful combination play with Saka. I think you could actually do that and get away with it without it being a complete catastrophe. That's how good Declan Rice is. And also, John Stones and Mark Gay need to be playing alongside each other. This Ezra Konsa versus, alongside Gay thing is not working. There's not working. You need Stones in there for his passing out of the back, his composure, his intelligence. He's going to put his body on the absolute line. This is his last dance. Don't even think about injuries with Stones or fitness or form. This guy has played through everything. This guy has been there and done that. He had 7 or 8 dribbles against Inter Milan in a fucking Champions League final while playing right back. I think he can handle the pressure of the Mexican press and the Mexican attack trying to fly right at him while he's trying to pass out of the back. You could play him at center back alongside Mark Gay and have a lot better of a defense than you've seen through England with Konsa and Gay. It's just not the right balance. So if England can figure those things out, you might have to play Declan Rice at right back. You just might have to. I think that might get the best out of the entire team. I really do. England, though, they're a conundrum. There's so many eyes on them here. There's so many people watching how they're going to do. Are they going to progress out of this thing? How far are they going to go? There's not a ton of pressure on them as much as there's like a lot of cautious optimism and fear of waiting for the collapse. And it's very interesting because England have a very controversial squad. They've got a lot of players that a lot of other managers would not have put in their team. Is that going to be the formula that makes this the first time England win the World Cup since 1966? I'm not so sure. I think it's going to have to be Kane and Bellingham and Declan Rice who drag them to that place. Also, Jordan Pickford, he has had a terrible tournament. Jordan Pickford has been a fantastic goalkeeper for years. I know he's got his detractors, but I'm not one of them. He has bailed England out time after time after time after time since 2018. A lot of clean sheets, a lot of big time games, a lot of big moments in penalty shootouts too. And yet, this is his worst tournament, allowing goals from DR Congo at his near post, letting the ball from Baturina, the shot hit his palm and still go in. Jordan Pickford has had his worst tournament so far. And it's time for him to turn it on, or else, Raul Jimenez, they're gonna nick a goal off of a mistake, and that might be it. Because right now, I'm not so confident England could score more than one goal against this Mexican team. Are we even confident they can score against Mexico? That's going to be a crazy game. I think it's going to go 1-0 England after extra time. I think England's going to win that game. Moving on to the next one, Belgium, Senegal. We'll touch on this briefly. Senegal completely outplayed Belgium. Deliriously outplayed Belgium. Belgium were nowhere to even be found on the field. And then Yuri Tielemans just goes off in the middle of the park, sets up Thomas Meunier, who crosses it in to Romelu Lukaku, who has quite the moment, and Lukaku puts it in the back of the net. And it's 2-1, but you still think, no way, But we've seen it time after time in this World Cup. Crazy, unbelievable comebacks. And Belgium get a wild last-second free kick where Yuri Tielemans heads it on right as the fist comes through, just barely misses it. Mendy just barely misses it. And he flicks it on into the net. Yuri Tielemans scores his first World Cup goal big time, and that would not be the last. Goes through a really boring extra time, and the final seconds, you think you're going to penalties. And Yuri Tielemans earns a penalty and then belts that thing home, and Belgium steal. Absolutely steal the win 3-2. And Senegal, hearts broken. Sadio Mane in his last dance, his last World Cup, he had an assist in the tournament, but he did not get his goal. He set up a shot where that hit the post, and then the ball was eventually put in the net, so he created that goal as well. Mane was all over it, but he did not have the World Cup I was hoping for. Senegal were incredible all together, and he had a lot to do with that. Ismaila Sarr scores 4 goals. Mbai was brilliant. Iliman Ndiaye, who's one of my favorite players in the EPL, 1 goal, 2 assists, should have played a lot more in the tournament. What an incredible World Cup Senegal had. And Belgium had no business going through in this World Cup. No business going through. And that call for me was a penalty, but it was soft. It was soft. Now, this one is going to hurt. This one is going to be very bothersome for people. Oh, guys. The USA versus Bosnia. The USA completely control the game. And Balogun scores his 3rd goal of the World Cup. And Pulisic is kind of, doing okay. But we're playing really safe and within ourselves. But things are starting to build and pick up. And then when it's 1-0, they call a red card on Balogun for this. And it looks bad where you just look at it right that. That's still only a yellow. And also, we have witnessed referees allowing stamps, stomps, elbows, knees to the face, literally like ripping guys down. We have seen all of that allowed throughout the group stage. Not even a foul call. Literally, the ref's like, get up, get up, get up. And it's like, what? Dude just like smashed him. How are you not calling this? Like, I want it to be a contact sport too, but my God, a foul is a foul. It literally would allow anything throughout the entirety of the group stage. And now that we've gotten to the knockout round, when they feel like it, they make these type of calls. This call could absolutely be the difference between the United States going to a World Cup semifinal for the first time since 1930, maybe perhaps going to a final for the first time ever, or being knocked out in the round of 16 or quarterfinals. Because Folarin Balogun, 3 goals this World Cup, and does not look like stopping, had more goals in him in that game against Bosnia, and he is now suspended for this game against Belgium, the rematch from the 2014 round of 16 Classic, where Tim Howard had 16 saves and De Bruyne and Lukaku scored in extra time to finish that off. Jermaine Green also got the consolation goal. But this call was absolutely heinous because it's about a few things here. Consistency. If you're calling stuff like that a red card all tournament, I think it's stupid, but okay, consistency. 2, that is only a yellow card. Balogun didn't even have a foul all game. That's a yellow. 3, this was such a case of obviousness that the referee wanted to red card Balogun and hurt the United States, not just in that game, but going forward. It's quite obvious. The U.S. has a lot of enemies because of what the U.S. is doing right now. What we've done from fighting wars overseas that we shouldn't be getting into, from our support of Israel, from our president being who he is and acting how he does with other countries. There are a lot of enemies of America right now. And when you have some of these international refs reffing these U.S. games, well, that's what's going to happen. Raphael Klaus, I believe a German referee, oh no, Raphael Klaus is actually Brazilian. And guess what? He was investigated in Brazil. He was investigated in Brazil for doing certain things. And here's the thing: I've never thought that Klaus, watching him referee matches in the past, I remember his face. I never thought he was that bad of a ref. But now knowing that he's half Brazilian, half German, the dude might have some not legitimate Nazi background. We cannot trust this man. He's an enemy of the United States. We cannot trust this man. Donald Trump, I call on you to deport this man, Raphael Klaus, from this country. I mean, you're not going to let that Somalian referee, who had an amazing pedigree and amazing track record, you're not going to let him come into this country, but you're going to let this asshole come into this country and ruin the USA's chances going forward? What a prick. What a prick. So the U.S. going forward, you're going to have to put Ricardo Pepe out there. But here's the thing I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it very cleanly and very plainly right here and now. And I want you to clip it, okay? The U.S. will not be winning a World Cup. The U.S. will not be making a semifinal. The U.S. will not be going any further than the quarterfinals if Pochettino does not start Christian Pulisic alongside Giovanni Reyna. You put Reyna in center attacking mid, McKennie at right forward, left forward is Pulisic. In midfield, you got Tillman, and then you got Tyler Adams. Freeman on the right, on the left is Jedi. You know, this is an obvious formation for me. You have to get Gio Reyna and that creativity into this World Cup. He scored that outrageous goal, one of the best goals ever scored by an American in a World Cup. I can only think of like Eric Winalda's free kick against Switzerland as something as beautiful as this. I mean, it was such an aesthetically beautiful goal. Malik Tillman's free kick as well was beautiful, but the keeper did get a damn hand on that. Should have kept it out. So, like, but the technique of Tillman's free kick was special. By the way, the first free kick the U.S. has ever scored in a World Cup since Eric Winalda, my man Eric Winalda, did back in 1994 against the Swiss. By the way, Eric Winalda is a fucking badass. I absolutely love that guy. Not only is he a U.S. national legend, he's also a diehard Rush fan. I mean, he hates pay to play in the United States for soccer. He has his own youth academy. Like, that's a guy to believe in. Moving on from the United States, Spain. God, I love seeing Mikel Oyarzabal have his rise. I love seeing him get 4 goals, and now he's got 4 goals and an assist in the tournament. And he just can't stop scoring goals and getting assists for Spain. And he's now becoming one of the best strikers in the country. I'm sorry, in the World Cup. He's been devastating. And he's hit the post a couple times too, so he could technically have more goals, more assists. Oyarzabal, without him, I don't know where Spain are in this World Cup, guys. Spain have been listless. They've been boring. They've been really ugly to watch. And, I mean, Pedri has been a dream to watch on the ball. But the problem is he is pressed into submission and can't go anywhere with the ball too many times. And so it's sideways, back and forth. He created so many chances against Cape Verde, not one of them taken. And he continues to still create chances. But now over the last 2 games, he's starting to wane in his chance creation, and he's more just becoming a recycler of the ball, just like Rodri. And it's killing the momentum and the presence and the energy of this Spain attack. What really made Spain so unstoppable at Euro 2024 was their combination of dynamic wing play, almost unstoppable wing play with Yamal on one side, Nico on the other. But then what they could do in midfield, the grind opposition into the ground, into dust. They could pass teams into infinity after they've grind them into the ground, wore them down on the wings. And so teams could just not even touch Spain in that Euro 2024 campaign. But you have a hurt Yamal coming in, a hurt Nico Williams coming in. You don't have the balls to keep Gavi at left forward. You replace him with Alex Baena, who, yes, Baena has a goal and an assist. One of them was from a horrific goalkeeping error. I'm sure if you had left Gavi at that spot, he would have continued to do that. What's shocking is no player has made more progressive forward runs than Gavi has in any game than what he did against Caraco. He made so many runs off the ball trying to get something going into the box, and hardly any of it was picked out. So many times that Pedri or Rodri just stick their hand up. Hey, no, it's okay. Sorry, no timing there. Completely missed timing, but we'll pass it to you in 10 minutes from now, but you'll pass it back to me and let's go ding, 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 ding. There's no impetus. And I feel like Spain, if they're going to win this whole thing, they're going to win it in a very ugly, very measured, very just plodding way. But I don't think that's going to win. I don't think it's going to win a World Cup, especially when they're going to face France in the semis, likely the U.S. in the quarters. Those teams are capable of beating Spain when they're playing like this, when they're getting 0-0 against Cape Verde, barely a 1-0 over Uruguay, even though, Uruguay kicked them for 90 minutes. I get it. A 4-0 against Saudi Arabia when they could have gone for 9 or 10 really in that game. They scored 4 goals, 3 in the first half, and it looked like they were barely out of cruise control. It's really strange and mystifying to me that we're 4 games into this tournament. Pedri, 0 goals, 0 assists, playing as well as he has. Gavi, 0 goals, 0 assists. Yamal, only 1 goal, 0 assists. And that's the thing. Nico Williams barely has even played, barely even taken the field. This is a different Spain team that we're talking about without Nico Williams, without a fully operational Lamine Yamal. So now you're hoping these last 4 games, that you'll see the best of Yamal. And now you've rested him, you've kept him off the field as much as you can. Now is the time to unleash him fully and let him go for it. And you know what? I think they need to be playing Pedri at center attacking mid. Get him closer to goal. At Euro 2024, when they did that with Pedri, he didn't touch the ball every second. He wasn't fouled a bunch. He was able to literally play through the lines and get the ball and be so dangerous. So dangerous. So many should have been goals. So many setups. 1 assist. Pedri was so dynamic in that Euros. And here's the thing. If you want to play Pedri deeper, okay, but you need to play Gavi at that spot, not Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo looked really good for sections of this World Cup. And he does always produce a goal or an assist here or there. No one presses from the front like Gavi. No one commands more of the ball in dangerous areas than Gavi. No one can win the ball off of opposition defenders in the attacking half as well as Gavi can. So I'm hoping that we see Gavi take over that spot from Alex Baena. But considering that Baena has a goal and an assist, I don't think De La Fuente is going to do that. I think De La Fuente is still going to keep going with Baena until Nico Williams is all right, which I think is a big mistake. But Spain, they play Portugal next, and my God, is that going to be a game? That's going to be, we're about to talk about Portugal next, but this is going to be a battle between probably the 2 ugliest and worst performing teams of the tournament. I'm really excited for it because something's got to give. Someone's got to produce something. And I'm hoping it's Pedri. I'm hoping it's Gavi. I'm hoping it's Lamine Yamal. I'm hoping it's Oyarzabal. And hoping it's Cubarsí. I'm hoping it's these guys from Spain who deliver in that game over Ronaldo in Portugal. But because Ronaldo in Portugal should not be playing in this game. And we're about to tell you exactly why. Also, Spain haven't allowed a single goal yet this World Cup. That doesn't mean they're defending amazingly well. I think that really points out how conservative of possession they are. They're just getting the ball and just stepping on it and just stomping on it and not really doing anything with the ball, not really going anywhere with it. So it has not been good football from Spain. Even though the passing is like, ooh la la, it hasn't gone anywhere. It has not been very riveting or very fulfilling to watch. And I'm a diehard Spain fan who watches every second of everything they do because all of my favorite players, most of them play for Spain, and they just have not delivered. Next up, guys, this is Portugal-Croatia. I mean, this game had one of the ugliest first halves I've ever seen. A truly ugly first half. No, like I don't even think they even had a highlight from that first half. From the entire second half was one of the greatest halves of football I've seen in tournament play in my entire life. The drama, the intensity, the pace, the power, the precision, the energy, especially from Croatia. Portugal contributed a bit to that, but this was mostly about Croatia. Mateo Kovacic, who you can see crying his eyes out right there next to Modric, he was unplayable. Has an assist in the tournament, but he deserved a goal. Hits the post, the ball comes right back to him, and he hits it. Another one forces another brilliant save. Kovacic was running that Portuguese midfield. You had Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, all of these crackerjacks could not even hold a candle. They couldn't hold a candle to Mateo Kovacic and Luka Modric, what they were doing in midfield. Vitinha subbed off in the 62nd minute. Bruno Fernandes subbed off in the 63rd. They're down a goal to Ivan Perisic, who guys, Perisic, there's only one tournament where he didn't have a goal or an assist. That was Euro 2024, coming off of a torn ACL where he was basically rushed into the tournament. And he actually had an assist against Spain that was wrongfully disallowed for really bullshit reasons. But only one tournament outside of that one where he hasn't had multiple goal contributions. He has been an unbelievable player for Croatia. Scored in a World Cup final, had 3 goals, 1 assist in 2018 World Cup, has 1 goal, 3 assists in the 2022 World Cup, 2 goals, 1 assist in 1 World Cup in 2014, 2 goals, 1 assist in Euro 2016, scores against Spain, scores against France. I mean, every big game, every time, Ivan Perisic steps up to the plate. And what a, I mean, I know we're going to talk a lot about Luka Modric, and I love Luka Modric too. But Ivan Perisic, at the age of 37, this will be his last dance, I think, too. I hope it's not, because I love watching him, but he has been impeccable, incredible, special for Croatia. It's very telling that Euro 2020, when they lose 5-3 to Spain after extra time, it's very telling that they lose that game because there's no Ivan Perisic out with COVID virus. Considering this is 2021, there was a lot of that bullshit where you tested positive for COVID, you're out for the game, which is just nuts. If they have Perisic in that game, whole different game. And yet Perisic scores a brilliant goal here against Portugal, and you're thinking Croatia are going to make them suffer, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. Portugal hit the post from Leao. They're just leaving Ronaldo on. There's just nothing going on. There's nothing going on for Portugal. Complete grossness. You know, Vizinha, the goalkeeper for Cape Verde, with 2 dribbles, has 2 more dribbles than Ronaldo does this entire World Cup. Ronaldo has 0. Can't get past anybody, can barely even pass the ball. I mean, 22 passes. It's a joke. 25 touches. It's a joke. It's unbelievable how bad he is. But he gets a chance from a really, really embarrassing penalty call that was never a penalty. Not in a million years was this ever a penalty. And they call it. And Ronaldo, he scores. He shoots it right down the middle and scores. Probably the most high-pressure penalty of his career. And you could see it on his face. You could see it all over his face how much this meant, how much this could mean. And he buries it. And, you know, good for him. But this game should have gone to extra time. Because then Roberto Martinez does what no one thought he would do. He took off Cristiano Ronaldo. Nuts. Takes him off the field. That's insanity, right? Well, not if you're going to put on Gonzalo Ramos and he scores the winner, which Ronaldo couldn't even get his head to earlier in the game, could barely even put his feet to a chance, can barely even move. Gonzalo Ramos comes on and scores a huge, huge, huge goal for Portugal. And you think it's over. You think that's it. And then Croatia do what they always do. They never say die. And they score in the last possible second, the last possible kick. Guardiola bundles it over the line, and it is unbelievable. But oh wait. No. This can't be. You cannot win. You cannot get through here. We're going to have to VAR this. There's something that's going on here. There's got to be something wrong with this goal. We got to look for everything that's got to be wrong with this goal, right? We got to find it. We got to find what's wrong with this goal. There's something wrong here. We got to find it. At all costs, we have to find it. And of course, they do. They did. And they claim that number 20, his head touches the ball. Did you see his head touch the ball there? You see his head touch the ball or change the direction of the ball. And then it hits Viega's head, which then plays on Mario Pasalic onside. And then the goal is scored. He crosses it over and Guardiola scores, which would have sent the game to extra time, 30 more minutes. That ball never touches his head. And also, interestingly enough, the chip that's in there that's supposed to work, the chip actually doesn't work like we think it does. Okay? Here, watch this stuff. This is a guy showing you the sensor and how it works. Okay? He's showing you how the sensor, how the ball picks up the sensor. And guess what? Would you know it or not? The sensor only picks up on one side of the ball. It's not like a whole entire sensor throughout the ball. It only picks up one side of the ball. So A, what the hell are they doing that for? B, this is just madness. See, it says the graph detected contact with the ball. Well, they also said that hair can't count with offside. Hair does not count as a touch on the ball. So I don't know how else he touches that ball unless it scrapes his hair. And I mean barely scrapes his hair. There is no angle. There is nothing they've been able to show. There's nothing they've been able to show that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that 20 touches that ball. Because he doesn't. And everyone knows what happens when Croatia takes teams to extra time. Croatia win. The last time they actually lost an extra time game in a tournament was actually in 2016 to Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. A goal from Quaresma at the last second after Perisic, of all people we just talked about, hit the post. And so since then, Croatia have been unbelievable, unrelenting in their knockout brilliance against teams when they're talking about extra time games. They lost in Euro 2020 to Spain, of course. They lost to Turkey in Euro 2008 in Modric's second tournament. So they have had a few here and there, but mostly they're unstoppable in these moments. Let's see. Okay, they won one extra time game against Denmark on penalties, won another one against Russia in the same World Cup, and then won another 3 straight extra time games against England. 3 straight extra time games in 2018. And then they lose one to Spain in the round of 16 of the Euro 2020, so 3-1. Okay, another one against Japan, 4-1. Another one against Brazil, 5-1. So 5-1 in extra time play since then. And Croatia, man, I feel so bad for this team. They deserve to still be in this tournament. They're better. They're a better team than Portugal. They're a lot more fun to watch. They give way more for the game. They've meant more to the game than this Portugal team will ever. And to be honest, no one wants this Portugal team to succeed now. Not only are we sick of Ronaldo's ego and his petty bullshit, we're tired. Like, he only is happy when he scores a goal. That's it. And he doesn't give a shit about his team winning or anything. None of that matters. Did I score a goal or not? That's all that matters for him. And this game will live in infamy for a long time, because this is where we all found out that this is where the mask really slipped. FIFA actually robbed a team out of a World Cup. And the saddest thing, too, is it's Luka Modric's last World Cup. That's the thing that hurts me the most. And he was just starting to turn it into something. He was just starting to really figure it out. Had an assist, became the oldest player to have an assist against Ghana, a huge goal. But man, it really sucks to see him go. It really does. I have to be honest. He's one of my favorite players ever. Been watching him since he was at Tottenham. The first time I saw Luka Modric was actually when he was playing in the 2006 World Cup for Croatia, coming off the bench against Australia. And he had 2 shots on goal that really caught my eye, and I'm like, this guy's a great little player. And then next thing I know, he's at Tottenham, and I'm watching him every week. And I hated that he went to Real Madrid. I hated that, but I could look beyond that, because I was always so into what Croatia were doing and how good Croatia were ever since Euro 2008. I was always like very much so looking forward to every Croatia game and watching them every tournament. And I'm still going to. But without Modric, without Perisic, this is a very different Croatia national team. Very different. And I think it's great that guys like Martin Baturina got a shot and really have risen up through the ranks. But man, you need some more. You really need to figure out. Tony Fruk is a guy who I think should have gotten more minutes in this World Cup to prepare him for the future. And that's the thing about this World Cup for Croatia. They're kind of caught in this, like, we're going through the future, but we also have guys who are old, but they're not old enough where we can't rely on them to take us to another semifinal or a potential final, because they've done it. I mean, Luka Modric winning 6 Champions League finals for club, multiple assists in these Champions League finals, some of the biggest ones in club history, including 2014, where the game is over. Atletico Madrid, your biggest rival, are about to knock you out of the Champions League, win the whole thing. And who puts in a corner the last kick of the game onto Sergio Ramos's head? Perfect corner. Luka Modric. Same type of shit he did against Ghana. I just, his heroics, his heart, his energy, his touch on the ball, all of it is going to be it's going to be such a big miss for me. Someone who I've loved watching. He's not as much as a favorite of mine as Iniesta or Xavi, but my God, he's got to be third. He is so special to me, and seeing that his World Cup international career ended like that, all I have to say is America is becoming the land of injustice. FIFA are the purveyors of injustice. And in America, it's, oh, well, that happened to you. It didn't happen to me. Stop your complaining. Shut up and get on with it. And that's why we're where we are at as a country. It's because we allow these type of things to happen, where complete injustice. And we almost are proud of that injustice. It's really disgusting. Croatia should still be in this tournament. They completely outplayed Portugal in every sense and shape of the word. I don't care what the possession stats say. I don't care what the amount of key passes or dribble. I know what I saw. I saw one team hunting, pushing, trying to break everything down to win this game. And that was not Portugal. They are lucky. They are boring. They are ugly to watch. And they're one of the worst teams I've ever seen make it this far in a tournament. Like, they're almost topping Euro 2024 and how boring they were in that tournament. And let's remember, they didn't score a goal for 3 fucking games in that tournament. That's how bad they were. Man, that's hard for me to move on from because Croatia being robbed like that is so disgusting. But, you know, I was really bothered by the Switzerland Algeria game. I'll just touch on that really quick. Algeria get knocked out. That really hurt me because I love what Algeria were starting to build. And it felt like their World Cup had just started to get going. And the door slams right shut. And it's really sad because Hassem Aouar was really just turning it on, coming into his own. Riyad Mahrez in his first real World Cup. He only had one other World Cup appearance before this in 2014 and then didn't play the rest of that tournament. And now he has that chance 12 years later, finally again, and just goes off. And you felt like, man, they can go on a run. They can beat Switzerland. They can beat Australia or Egypt. They can go on this run here to the quarterfinals. It was there for them. And instead, Aouar, Mahrez, Maza, Bentaleb, Goiri, all these great players could not create a damn thing against Switzerland. All the movement, everything was there until the final pass or the final move or the final shot. Everything would get blocked or mistouched or misplaced. It was so frustrating to watch. So the Swiss completely cancel everything that they tried to do. Algeria RAP. Sucks to see Mahrez's last dance end like this, but Mahrez leaves with 2 goals and 1 assist and total revenge against one of Algeria's greatest enemies, Austria. Damned them straight into a Spain, getting knocked out by Spain. So happy for them in that respect. But what a World Cup by those guys. And now finally, the last that we're going to talk about, Argentina escaping versus Cape Verde. Guys, Cape Verde remained tied after 90 minutes against Argentina, Spain, and Uruguay. All of those teams were held over 90 minutes, within 90 minutes by Cape Verde. Those teams have 6 combined World Cups, and Cape Verde punched each one of them in the fucking face and said, we're here to play. We're going to hold on for dear life. We're going to try and win this thing. And no, they weren't holding on for dear life. They were actively in the face of Argentina. You think once Lisandro Martinez scores that sick goal in extra time, 2 minutes into extra time, you think that's the gut punch that's going to make, Cape Verde collapse. And instead, Cape Verde score an unreal, unfreaking believable goal. And I'm astounded. I'm stunned. I'm stunned by what we've seen from this Cape Verde team. Absolutely, just unreal. I mean, you literally have Sidney Cabral cutting in on his right foot from way, way out and burying this thing around Emi Martinez. Perfect shape on this strike. Perfect shape on everything to do with this goal. And completely, man, you felt like Cape Verde could knock them out. As a Messi fan, diehard Messi fan, Argentina, loyalist, I was terrified. It felt like Cape Verde had the magic on their side. It felt like Argentina, if they were going to get through, it was going to be through kind of some luck. And that's what happened. Messi puts in a brilliant corner in extra time when it's 2-2. And Christian Romero, who I think should get credit for the goal, the ball is going on target. He heads it, and it hits off of very quickly, boom, right off of a Cape Verde guy's hand. And so they reclassified it as an own goal, took Messi's assist from him, and took away Romero's goal from him as well. But Argentina get through with that 3-2 win. And by the skin of their balls, guys, by the skin of their balls, this was ugly from Argentina. You know, they thought they could they thought they could just win 1-0 against Cape Verde. I don't know what they were doing. Messi scores an unreal goal. I mean, just a freakish goal with this first touch that he scored. Unfucking real. I'm going to try and get that on the screen to show you. Scores this ridiculous goal. First touch is abnormal what he did. And you think, okay, that's here comes the shootout. Not the shootout. Here comes the blowout. 5-0, 4-0. Because that's what it should have been. This is Argentina. They're Cape Verde, the lowest ranked team, the smallest nation ever make it into a World Cup. I don't care if they held Spain to a 0-0. I don't care if they held Uruguay to a 2-2. Uruguay suck. Like, come on. This is Argentina. And instead, what do we get? We get extra time. We get an equalizer later on. We get Argentina just passing it back and forth, looking for nothing, completely reliant on Messi. Messi had to take 9 shots in this game, 6 on target. Without Messi, Argentina barely even had an attack. You know, Enzo Fernandez had 2 shots on target, but one of them was pretty easily savable. The other one was a pretty good shot. Outside of him, and of course, Lisandro Martinez with a goal and an assist, had that brilliant over-the-top ball for Messi's first goal, and then scores that critical goal in extra time that was then canceled out. But without it, Argentina maybe lose on penalties. Like, this was so dicey, guys. This was insane. And the thing that really bugs me, too, as an Argentina fan, is you have Cape Verde, and then you have Egypt, and then a quarterfinal against possibly like Colombia. You have one of the easiest routes through the first 3 rounds of this knockout round phase to win a World Cup, to really put on the style. This is a route to a final where Messi could actually have a chance to beat Just Fontaine's 13 goals record in a single World Cup. He's on 7. He scored 7 in the entirety of the last World Cup, and he's already got 7. He's already missed a penalty, too, so he basically should have 8 and an assist. He only needs 6 more goals to tie the thing. That sounds crazy, but only 6? That's nothing to Messi. He can do that in 2 games. And you have Egypt next. Is that going to go to extra time? Is that going to go to penalties? Is that going to be a 1-1, 1-0? Grind it out, tough it out type of game where Lautaro Martinez gives nothing for you. Julian Alvarez gives nothing for the attack. All on Messi. It's just not enough. It's not good enough. Alexis McAllister needs to offer more, even though he had the headed flicked on assist for Lisandro Martinez's goal. We need to see more from Enzo Fernandez. We have not seen the best of Argentina. We've seen the best of Messi, but we have not seen the best of Argentina, not even close. And that really disgusts me. Argentina, they blow so many leads, it is crazy. I'm going to look this up real quick because I'm going to find out for a fact how many times they did this, because they did this multiple times in the last World Cup. Okay, how many times does Argentina blow these leads? We're going to find out right here. Okay, they blew the lead 1-0 against Saudi Arabia and then lost 2-1 to Saudi Arabia. That's one. Almost blow the lead against Australia. They were up 2-0 and allow a late goal, and then Australia almost tie it up late. I remember that one, watching that in the hotel in Atlanta after the SEC title game between LSU and Georgia that I was there covering. The Netherlands, up 2-0 on the Netherlands, and they allow the Netherlands to score 2 goals and tie it up and send it to penalties. France, they're up 2-0. They allow it to go to 2-2, and France take it to penalties. They score in extra time to make it go 3-2. France get another penalty and make it 3-3. So Argentina have now thrown away one, two, three, four leads in the last World Cup and lost one game because of it. So they're getting away with it. But it's not going to last long. Thrown away 4 leads in just the last 2 World Cup runs. And some of them are for multiple goals, too. Argentina are not the finished article of what they're going to be. This is arguably a better squad than 2022, but I think their form might be worse. I think they might have worse form than the 2022 team. They're going to score maybe more goals than the 2022 team. They're going to have more, moments of high class action than the 2022 team because of the easier opposition on their way to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. But Argentina don't look like winning at all unless Messi drags them over the line, and that's dangerous. We've seen it before. We've seen him do it before. Can he do it again? They kind of dragged him over the line in the 2024 Copa America. He went off injured. He needed Lautaro Martinez to score that goal to win it. Can he rely on Lautaro Martinez? Can he rely on Julian Alvarez, who's shown nothing in this World Cup? At least Lautaro, he was an inch away from having a hat trick last game. Scores a penalty and hits the post twice. But Julian Alvarez has done nothing this World Cup. Absolutely nothing, except for miss a huge one-on-one chance that Messi set up. Other than that, he's done absolutely nothing. And I want to see this Argentina team get to the final where they belong. It's going to have to be Argentina-England, Argentina-Brazil in that semifinal. It's going to have to be Argentina against Colombia, a team that never make it easy for Argentina. Almost beat them in that Copa America final. Colombia barely gets scored on. They grind out results. They can blow you out. They have 3 straight clean sheets, Colombia. They are absolutely a brilliant defensive colossus of a team. And they have a lot of attacking flair going forward. And Quintero and James Rodriguez, of course, still at this old age, just really making sure they can beat you in a variety of different ways. They're almost like the South American version of Morocco. Seriously. They haven't really gone deep in a World Cup since the quarterfinals of 2014. But this is going to be such an incredible World Cup as we keep going here. I'm hoping for 2 things. One, no catastrophic injuries because we've been lucky. We haven't seen many. And 2, the VAR bullshit has got to stop. I understand they want to get all these calls right and take a look at it, and that's fine. But if you're not going to call it in the first 89 minutes, you cannot call something in the 91st just because it will decide the result, and you'll be the one who basically got to get this team to win. And there's probably money involved. There's probably a lot of gambling money involved if we want to be serious and real and honest about this. And you got to wonder how much FIFA is fixing things. Is FIFA willing to fix, a Messi versus Mbappe final, a Messi versus Ronaldo final? Those type of things are right there. And Gianni Infantino he is not he's not exempt or far from doing these type of corrupt practices. He actually defines that corruption quite abundantly. But wow, the round of 32 from Germany out and deserving it, but being kind of robbed in a way with that crazy call from Croatia that's going to be a moment that lives on in a long time. We're going to remember that moment for a very long time. And people are going to speak out about that moment for a very long time because it's so horrible what happened to Croatia. They deserve to take that game to extra time, and if they did, they win that thing. But it's not just that they deserved it; it happened. The guy did not touch the ball. The chip sensor in the ball did not detect it, and if it did, show us the actual proof. Show us the data. But the problem is now if they show us the data, it doesn't matter. The time has passed. Now no one is going to believe a fucking thing from FIFA. And you got to wonder if this is becoming more of a theater thing and more of a show thing, or is it going to still be the sport that we love? Because this World Cup is a crossroads. You're seeing the hydration breaks, the Americanization of a lot of these things that we love in football. People wanting to change the offside rules, people wanting like a lot of dumb opinions being thrown around, and a lot of new people getting into the game. And maybe there's some people who are new who want to throw their money around too in the game. And so maybe they're okay, we're going to with MLS, we're going to change this and change that and change and make it a game where we just can't even recognize. And I'm worried about that because this World Cup is almost a testing ground for can we get away with the crazy prices? Because people will bitch and moan before it, but will they say anything during it? And will there be half empty stadiums during it? No. The answer was no. So FIFA right now think that they can charge your arm, your testicles, your face, and you're still going to pay for a ticket. Because we basically just told them that with how we paid for this World Cup. And you know what? The World Cup, it's been worth it. It's been worth it. But you know what? You cannot price families out of these events. You cannot do that. And that's the sickest thing is I'm seeing people, oh yeah, I'm going to this game, but I can't take my kids. Or, oh, I'm going to this game, but we can't take the wife and the baby and someone else. It's just gonna be me and my boy. Like there's been a lot of exclusivity that's broken my heart. A lot of people in these cities that are being hosted by the World Cup, whose lives are affected on a day-to-day basis by the World Cup, can't even afford a ticket to see, Egypt versus Australia. You know, it's crazy. And I'm not going to forget those type of pre-tournament narratives because they didn't change, they didn't go away, they didn't get erased. It's just the football started, and attention spans are very limited. That's the difference. But I am so pumped for this round of 16 action. So many good games coming up. We had Canada get beaten by Morocco just barely. Paraguay, France is coming up today. Brazil, Norway on Sunday. On Monday, you got Mexico, England, Portugal, Spain on the same freaking day. Wowza. Wowza, wowza, wowza. Oosh. So let's see here. Let's get the full list of round of 16 games here. Okay, Brazil, Norway, USA, Belgium, Argentina, Egypt, Switzerland, Colombia. So you're looking at probably Argentina, Colombia in that quarterfinals. You're probably looking at the USA getting through Belgium, who are just ugly. And at least that would be the justice. And going to be playing Spain, USA, Spain, England versus Brazil, and France, Morocco. So I think you're going to see a France, Morocco. This is what we predicted, I think, when we did the knockout round predictions. France versus Morocco, Brazil versus England, Spain versus the U.S., Argentina, Argentina versus Colombia, and from there, it's only going to get better and crazier. Messi's already on 7 goals. Mbappe's on 6. Haaland's on 5. Kane's on 5. I mean, this is the craziest World Cup already, guys. I'm so excited for it to continue. I just hope there's always going to be controversy. There's always going to be bad calls. There's always going to be controversial moments in these World Cups. But I feel like there's something else about this World Cup that will take over. There's a feeling that anything can happen. Anything is possible. Any record can be broken. Any comeback is potentially possible. A team can be down 3-0, but if they have the right mentality, the right heart, they can make that 3-3 in the final seconds. You hope that let it flow refereeing is still going on in these knockout rounds. It's still continuing, but there needs to be some obvious fouls called, and then it seems like they let a lot of obvious fouls go, and then they punish some other obvious fouls that maybe happen to a player that they like more than another player. So regardless, I'm looking very much forward to the rest of these round of 16 games. We just saw Morocco take down Canada, which was expected, scoring 3-0, 3-0 win, big time from Morocco there. And love to see Jesse Marsh lose. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging in with us. I'm so sorry for the last few shows. I did not know that my mic was. It wasn't that I was muted. It's that I didn't add myself to the stage to even have my voice recorded. So I really was gutted when I found out last night watching the show back that not only did the show I did last night not get counted, but a few others didn't. And that really pissed me off. I had to immediately rectify that. And so I'm sacrificing a bit of our 4th of July to make sure we got this through to you, because you guys are amazing and I fucking love you. Seriously, thank you so much for backing us and allowing us to experiment and cover the World Cup as well as covering LSU. We also did a video on Greedy James's commitment the other day, his flip that the audio didn't work on either. Really pisses me off. We did an article predicting that flip as well, and that happened. So we're going to try and rectify that situation and never let this type of shit happen again, these technical difficulties when it's just a simple button that I didn't push. I'm so sorry for that, and I really hope you guys understand. I'm doing all I can with 2 little ones and a full-time job at the same time. I mean, guys, if this could be my full-time job, if I could literally afford to just do this all day and create works for you guys, those type of mistakes wouldn't exist. Let's just be real here. And so we're just trying to do what we can. I want to say a big shout out to Go Girl, a big friend of ours on Twitter, LSU fan, a friend of ours that we met and got to talk to on Twitter. Absolutely love her. She has got a heart of gold and is just somebody that I'm speechless sometimes the way she supports us, and her friendship is just, she's such a kind and loving person. Go Girl. Happy 4th. Jamer, absolutely love you and the Siobhan family. Happy 4th to you as well. Peggy, Miss Peggy, happy 4th. Lady Tiger, lady president of the Lady Tigers Association in a way. Sarah Johnson, what's up? And absolute happy 4th. Chelsea Atwood, my good friend Chelsea Atwood. I saw you were watching one of my Instagram streams for the soccer stuff. Sorry if you watched that and you just heard a bunch of just or no sound at all. Well, here we are actually talking about the game. Really hope you have a happy 4th with your beautiful family, and hopefully we'll be meeting up soon and get to hang out. And you get to meet my kids, I get to meet yours. Chelsea is a childhood teenager years friend. She was my friend from junior high and in high school and after, and just a beautiful person, and really absolutely love her and her family. Her parents are the coolest people ever. Her parents love REM and Curb Your Enthusiasm, and let us get into some crazy shenanigans at her house. So I'll always love her dad Brian and her mom as well. Her brother Brian too. Great family. Thank you guys so much. I absolutely love all of you. Happy 4th of July to all of you. I need to try and be a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better writer, a better speaker, a better host. I need to have better health. I need to improve my health. I need to improve a lot of things and fix a lot of things in my life, and in how I do things. And so, thank you guys for giving us patience and grace to be able to do that and to try and get better every day when we do these things. I absolutely love all of you, whether you love me or hate me or mock me or laugh. I don't care. I love you. Happy 4th, everybody.